Good morning, it's Saturday, yay! Welcome to the weekend. I'm Belle, welcome to my channel. This is going to be a what I eat in a day video, and for those of you that don't know, I follow Slimming World. I'm debating attempting an SP day today, but I'll see how I go. I'm kind of relaxed whether that becomes an extra easy day later in the day, but I'm going to start with an SP day and see how I get on. Anyway, I'm starting the day with a glass of water, and then I've got an almond latte, which is in there. This is another one of the sachets that you just put in the mug, pour boiling water on, give it a bit of a stir, and there it is. I had the toffee nut one yesterday, which I thought was absolutely delish. So I'm excited to try this. I did just taste the just kind of lick the spoon that I just stirred it with, and it tasted amazing. It tastes a bit like those little almond biscuits. I don't know if it's like amaretti or something like that, but it tastes really nice if you like kind of almond flavours. So this one isn't on the Slimming World app, but ones with similar calories are, and they're about 3.5 sins, so I'm going to count 3.5 sins for this. And this is how I'm starting my day. So for breakfast this morning, I'm going to attempt to make some pumpkin spice muffins. I don't think I've made them before. It's going to be a bit of winging it, but I thought I would show you what I'm going to use. So I'm going to use 40 grams of porridge oats, which is going to be my healthy bee. I'm going to use 1 egg, which is a large egg, I think. I sometimes use 2 medium eggs in my baked oats, but I think I'm just going to use 1 large one today. I'm going to use a couple of spoons of this pumpkin, pure pumpkin, which is made by Libby's. I got this in Waitrose, I think, and it's coming up on the app as free. Make sure you do use the one that is just pumpkin, because I'm sure you can probably get canned like pumpkin pie filling, which is probably sweetened and stuff, but this is just 100% pumpkin. I'm going to use a tablespoon of wheat bran, which I think is probably something like 1 or 1.5 sins, and that's just for me personally that I want a bit more fibre, but you wouldn't need to use the wheat bran if you didn't want to. I'm going to use a spoon of quark. I'm going to use a drizzle of pumpkin spice skinny syrup. Again, you don't need to use A, that flavour, or B, even skinny syrup. You could just use some sweetener instead if you didn't have skinny syrup. Or if you didn't have this flavour, you could just use one of the other sweetened flavours, that would be fine. And then I've got some pumpkin pie spice mix, which I got from a website called American Fizz, I think, which kind of imports various American products to the UK. But it's just got, I think it's like ginger. Let me grab it. There we go. I think it's just got, let me just have a look. There we go. So it's just got cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg and allspice. So cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg and allspice. So actually you could, instead of using the pumpkin pie spice mix, you could just use obviously mixed spice, or just some cinnamon would probably be absolutely fine. So yeah, so I'm just going to add all this together, mix it round, and make it into muffins. So I will show you what it looks like once it's done. So I just thought I'd show you what the pumpkin looks like inside the can, and that looks like this. So I'm sorry for the noise, that's somebody cutting the grass outside. It's Saturday morning and that's what happens, I guess. So in the end I didn't use the pumpkin pie spice mix. I used these, so ground cinnamon, ground ginger, ground nutmeg and a tiny bit of ground allspice. And I also ended up using 2 eggs rather than the one that I was going to. And I've just said check the sin value of the wheat bran, and I used 10 grams, so that would be 1 sin. But as I mentioned earlier, the wheat bran, you really don't need to add it. It's just I wanted to have more fibre. In terms of how much pumpkin I used about between 1/3 and 1/2 of that can of pumpkin. So anyway, I will show you what it looks like in a sec. So this is the pumpkin pie mix. So it's just got 40 grams of oats, 10 grams of wheat bran, a drizzle of pumpkin pie skinny syrup. I've also added a drizzle of cinnamon vanilla skinny syrup, but as I mentioned, you don't need to add the wheat bran if you don't want to, and you don't need to add the skinny syrup. You could just use sweetener instead. I've added 2 large eggs, between 1/3 and 1/2 a pot of the pumpkin in the can that I showed you earlier, and I've added cinnamon, ginger, tiny bit of allspice and some nutmeg. Oh, and a couple of spoons of quark as well. and I've just stirred it round, so that's what it looks like, and I'm just going to pop it in the oven in a Fry Light sprayed muffin tray. I would show you that, but my muffin trays look terrible and I'm embarrassed to show them to you, so I will show you what they look like once they're done. So I thought I'd make a kind of dip or something for the pumpkin pie muffins. So I think I'm going to add maybe half a white chocolate option sachet, which I think will be 1 sin, into some quark, and then I might add a tiny bit of lemon extract, but I'm not sure yet, but I'll show you what it looks like in a sec. So this is the white chocolate lemon dip. I did add some lemon essence in the end, and I used the whole of the white chocolate option sachet, so that'll be 2 sins. It's nice. What I was trying to aim for was a bit of a kind of like citrusy kind of cream cheese frosting kind of taste, you know, like you have with like carrot cake or kind of pumpkin pie muffin kind of thing sometimes. It doesn't taste exactly like that, if I'm honest, but I am working with quark. But it tastes fine, but I would probably just as be happy with a vanilla quark thing that you get from Asda or Waitrose, which is sin-free. So I think maybe I will have this today, obviously, and I'm sure it's going to be lovely, but I think in the future I'd probably save my 2 sins and use a vanilla quark pot instead. So this is breakfast, pumpkin spice muffins with a lemon white chocolate frosting. I actually think the lemon white chocolate quark on the top works really well with it. You might not want to use 2 sins on it. They'd be fine on their own, but I quite like it. I just think it adds something a little bit different. So I cooked them for about half an hour, depends on your oven. I think I cooked mine at about 180. I've got a fan oven, but obviously play it by ear depending on your own oven, and I would probably check it about 25 minutes, and it obviously depends how big you kind of cook them. And I'm just having a black coffee and I'm having an apple. I probably won't eat these all now, to be honest. I'll probably have a couple later in the day. But this, just to recap, has got 1 sin for the wheat bran, which is obviously optional anyway, and 2 sins for the white chocolate option sachet, which again is completely optional too, that I just put in the quark over the top of them. So again, you could have these completely sin-free if you were using the oats as your healthy bee. Anyway, this is brekkie. I'm looking forward to getting stuck into it, and I will see you at lunchtime. So it's 2 o'clock and this is lunch. I'm just having 4 of these cheese squares, the seriously spreadable lighter cheese squares. That's my healthy A. I've got some ham, and then for speed I've got the tomatoes, pickled onions and apple. I've got a glass of water, and then I've got some hula hoop beef puffs, which are 3.5 sins. In terms of my pumpkin spice muffins this morning, really enjoyed them. A couple of things. One, I didn't cook them for long enough, so just make sure you do cook yours properly. In the middle, they just weren't cooked enough, so next time I would definitely cook them for longer. I also didn't think they were necessarily sweet enough, so I'd probably add a little bit more of the skinny syrup or sweetener in the future. I don't know if I'd use as much pumpkin. I'd maybe use like slightly less next time. What else? Other than that, I think they were good. I really enjoyed the like frosting on them, the quark with the white chocolate options and the lemon essence. I know that will have cost 2 sins, but I do actually think it was worth it. So anyway, I'd have them again, but I think it's one of those things where I'm going to keep tweaking the recipe until I get it right. But anyway, this is lunch. It's 2 o'clock, and I will jump on and show you what I'm having later on. So it's just gone 4:30, and I've just had quite a relaxing day. I did a couple of Leslie Sansom walk from home walking videos on YouTube earlier, and I've done some cleaning and bits. My whole kitchen smells of apples flora, which is nice. But anyway, I'm not really hungry enough for dinner, but I just want to have a little snack. So I'm just having a gingerbread green tea in the mug. I've got a glass of water, and then I've got my leftover pumpkin spice muffins from earlier. I do think they're probably better straight out the oven, but hopefully they will be nice. And yeah, I'm just trying to catch up with X Factor, deciding whether to commit to this series. I've watched every series of X Factor since it started, apart from where I've lived abroad. but I'm not sure if I can give it the commitment this year. I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm just trying to catch up on what I've missed whilst I've been away. Hi, so it's 7:15 and this is dinner, glass of water and some campfire stew and veggies. I'm going to insert a clip about how I made this now. Hi, so I'm going to put a campfire stew in the slow cooker overnight, and I thought I would show you what is going into it. Now, I'm not a very precise cook, I have to be honest. If you Google and look online at campfire stew, there's probably going to be much better recipes than mine. I just tend to chuck stuff in and hope for the best. But anyway, this is what I'm putting in the slow cooker overnight. I'm putting in a unsmoked gammon joint. It doesn't look like it's got much fat on, to be honest. I know you're supposed to cut off any visible fat, but to me it looks relatively lean. Some people say you should soak your gammon joint overnight, you know, in water to kind of get rid of a lot of the salt. I probably won't bother just because I'm quite lazy, but you know, whatever, you know, you think is right. If you want to soak it, soak it. And I'll probably be saying tomorrow that it's far too salty, but I just want to get it in, so I probably won't. I've just got a Sainsbury's Basics passata. I've got some chilli powder, ground cinnamon, smoked paprika and garlic granules, can of chopped tomatoes, a can of baked beans, some cumin, and then these Heater vegetable mix from Tesco's, which is just chopped peppers and red onions with a few herbs in there, and it just means I don't have to chop up onions and peppers, so that's what I'm going to use. So this is just going to go in the slow cooker overnight, and I will show you what it looks like once it's done. So this is what the campfire stew looks like before I turn it on. So all the ingredients in there with the gammon, and I'm just going to pop it in and let it cook overnight. Hi, so it's the morning and this has been on for about 9-10 hours, something like that, on low. All I've done now is taken the gammon joint and used a fork to pull it apart. So we've got a lovely pulled gammon there. I'll show you the consistency in a sec. So this is kind of what it's like now. So lovely thick kind of pulled gammon in a sauce. You can obviously turn the slow cooker up onto high and sort of reduce the juice if you want it a bit thicker, because this is obviously still quite juicy. There's still quite a lot of sauce, so you could kind of turn the heat up and kind of reduce that down, but for me I quite like having quite a lot of sauce anyway. So anyway, that's the lovely campfire stew ready for later. So hopefully that all made sense. As you can see, I'm not a very precise cook. I tend to just chuck stuff in. But anyway, hopefully it tastes all right. So on the plate, you've obviously got the veggies, steamed veggies, and the onions and peppers and chopped tomatoes for my speed. And then my protein is the baked beans and the gammon. So it's about 8 o'clock and I thought I'd show you what I'm having for supper. I think I've decided I am going to watch X Factor, so I will be enjoying this with that. The campfire stew was absolutely lovely and such good value. Like, I mean, just it made, well, 6 really big portions, but really it could have made 8. And I just think it's going to be so good for lunches next week, and just a great, really easy meal. So I'd strongly recommend the campfire stew. Anyway, supper tonight is a spiced ginger tea, and then I'm just having 2 Alpen Lights, 1 summer fruit one and 1 salted caramel one, which are my second healthy bee because I think that I have done a SP day today. So sin wise, I had 3 sins for my muffins this morning. 2 for the options, 1 for the wheat bran, and then I had 3.5 sins for the coffee first thing and 3.5 sins for the hula hoop puffs at lunchtime. So I think I'm finishing on 10 sins. So anyway, thanks very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I've really enjoyed today and everything I've eaten. I I'm such a big fan of Slimming World. I just think that the food you can eat is absolutely brilliant. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything at the moment, and really enjoying everything I'm eating. So anyway, I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed, do give it a thumbs up. And if you've really enjoyed and you'd like to continue to watch my journey, do consider subscribing to my channel and hit the bell so that you don't miss any future videos. Take care. Bye.